Welcome to Journey to Novelist. This channel is devoted to new writers and those writers new to pursuing the goal of becoming a published author. And one of the things we do on this channel is we look at writing software that is geared towards writing books or novels. And I've done this in the past. Last year, I kind of laid it out in a grid format where I recommended things for pantsers or flow writers and things for plotters or planners. Kind of laid everything out in this space. And I made some recommendations. I said Novlr would be good for pantsers or flow writers, and then Papyrus Author for plotters or planners, and I recommended Bibisco or Scrivner for those people in the middle or that go back and forth. I told you where you could get them and basically what you would pay. We're going to go with a different approach this year, and we're going to approach the software in an A to Z format. I'm going to show you all the software I ran across when I was searching for novel writing software and let you know whether or not it actually is for novelists. Some of these things won't show up again. Some of them will show up on future lists. There are 30 titles in this list. Some are old, some are new. That is, old software wrote decades ago, or old as having been on my list before, or new software, new to the software game, or new to my list. I'll try to point out which formats, or rather which operating systems these run on. A lot of them, though, are cloud-based online software, so they're going to work on pretty much anything that can use a browser. So let's get started and talk about Atticus. Atticus comes up in my search. It's come up several times, but this software really isn't a software that I would recommend. It compares itself to a software called Vellum, which is a Mac-only software for formatting a manuscript for EPUB or making an ebook. Atticus seems to be the same thing, even though they might actually have an editor there where you can actually write in. You won't see it on my list again. The price point that it starts at is $147 for a one-time purchase. So Atticus is off my list. The second software listed here is AutoCrit, and AutoCrit is an online software as well, but it is geared toward people writing novels. It originally had a lot of features that were just for polishing your manuscript after you wrote it, doing all that grammar checking, and then comparing your manuscript to your genre or your writing style that you're hoping to get, and giving you feedback on your writing. But now there is actually a writing environment in AutoCrit that you can use for free that lets you actually write your manuscript in the software. There are some other tools that are available if you get the paid version, and for the paid version you're going to be starting out at basically $180 for the annual subscription, which is a bit pricey, but if you're considering all the other tools you get, if you are editing books, then that is not a lot, but the free version is there to use. In the B's we have a Bibisco, and I have recommended Bibisco in the past, and I would still recommend Bibisco for anybody that's looking for free software to help them start organizing. It is available for Mac, Windows, or Linux. It is a download to your computer where you're going to download and install it. The free version is CE, which stands for Community Edition, and you can use all the tools in the Community Edition for free. If you want additional tools, then you can get the Supporters Edition, which right now it's cost $59 every 2 years. For 2 years you will get any upgrades for the Supporters Edition that comes out. Now, last year this ran at $47, so the price has increased, but I would still recommend it. I still think it's worth the $59 for Supporters Edition, or you can use the free Community Edition. It is an independent developer, so the money goes towards, keeping the websites active and time to actually develop and improve the software. In the C's we have Campfire and Celtech. Campfire is an online writing environment, and they have a different pay model. It's a pay per feature or pay per module type of environment. They have 18 modules including manuscript, characters, locations, timeline, arcs, magic systems, language systems, maps. There's 18 of them, and I'm not going to even try to name them all. The modules you can use for free, but in a limited capacity, like the manuscript module, which is one you would definitely need if you are going to be writing a novel, in Campfire, you would have to have that Manuskript module. The free version allows you to write 25,000 words. If you're going to write more than 25,000 words, if you're writing a full-length novel, per se, you would need to get the paid version of that particular module, which will run you $2 a month or $16 annually for the paid version of the Manuskript module. Some of the modules are as cheap as 50 cents per month, and the one like Manuskript is one of their most expensive ones at $2 per month. So you get to basically pick which ones you're going to need for your story, because if you're writing a historical romance novel, then you're not going to need the magic systems. Campfire has been updated as recently as 2025, so it is worth looking at. If you want to get all the modules for the entire year at the paid level, you're going to be paying about $160. And then there are some additional paid tiers above that, including a lifetime version of all the modules for around $420. Celtx is a software I've mentioned before, and the old version that we mentioned in previous videos is a download that you can get at some of the download sites. It's Celtx version 2.9.7 or 2.7 based on where you get it, and it was in a program that you downloaded and installed. Now Celtx is more focused on script writing than on novel writing, so I probably won't mention it in any future videos, but it does come up in some of the writing software suggestion lists that I've run across, and it's done that multiple times. There is a new version that is an online web-based version at Celtx.com. It costs $135 for the annual subscription if Celtx is something that you need if you are writing scripts as well as novels, or you like having the way a script writing tool breaks things down, then Celtx is out there. This new version, like I said, is $135, but if you get their trial version, after the trial is over, if you scroll down to the bottom, there's a place that says stay free, and you can use their limited version for free, and it is very limited, but you can check it out for yourself. That's Celtx at Celtx.com. In the D's, we have Dabble and Dramatica Pro. Now, Dabble you can get at dabblewriter.com. It is, again, another online writing platform. They have a 14-day free trial, but then you're going to be paying monthly with a $9 a month subscription for their basic version, or $19 a month for their standard plan, or $29 a month for their premium. The basic version gives you basic manuscript organization tools, a few goal and stat tools as well. If you're going to want their plot grid or some of their other advanced features, then you would have to go to the standard plan at that $90 a month. Now, it has been updated at least as recently as 2023, so it is an updated software, but you can take a look at Dabble. Now, a software that was very popular back in its day was a Dramatica Pro. Now, this is an older software. It was written way back in the 1990s. I think it was very popular. Its last update, I think, was in 2004, and I think that update was really just for keeping their installers current so that they would install on the newer Windows operating system. It is a 32-bit program still, but Dramatica has its own theory for how to develop stories. That's what it was built on. It was this whole Dramatica story theory, and you can still get the software, try out that theory at Dramatica.com. There are some documents on that theory and what it's all about. You can get a free demo version from either the Dramatica.com site or the Screenplay.com site. The free demo, you can use all the features of the software, except for you can't save your work and you can't actually print anything from your work. So it is in a strictly demo mode, and you can apparently still buy the Windows version for $129 and download it from the site. Moving on, for the E's, I didn't really find any E software, although I did follow a false lead for something that was called Edward, which I never actually found. So we move on to F. And F, I found two softwares, or two kept coming up. One of them is Final Draft, and whenever I say Final Draft, I mean Final Draft 13, and also First Draft Pro. Those are the two that come up. Now, Final Draft, you can get it at finaldraft.com. It costs $200 even to get the software and look at it. This is a script writing software, not really a novel writing software. It's more geared towards plays, films, or even graphic novel scripts, not writing novels. So I'm only mentioning it because it keeps coming up in my list of software. I won't mention it again. The other one here is First Draft Pro. Now, this is another writing environment for Novelist, and at firstdraftpro.com you can get the free version, which allows you to have 50,000 words for one project. And if you pay $90 a year, which is their next tier up, you can have two projects with an unlimited number of words. That will cost you that $90 a year. They have one other payment tier above that, which is $180 annually, to get all of their features unlocked and have unlimited number of projects. It has been updated as recently as 2024. It is, again, online, so pretty much anybody can use that software. Moving on to G, I didn't find anything, so we'll just jump right on to H. I did run across a website called Hiveword, and they bill themselves as a novel organization tool. So I don't know whether it's actually an environment where you would actually write your story, or whether it's one you would use more for planning your story. I didn't get into it too far, but you can sign up for free and use some of the tools, and then beyond that there is a paid plan for $25 annually, and another tier above that called the Novel Knockout Plan, which is $49 a year, and apparently that has a self-paced coaching made in conjunction with James Scott Bell, who does a lot of plotting and story structure, and he has some books out. So that could be interesting. Again, this is an online browser-based software. In I, J, and K, I really didn't find anything, so let's move on to L. And I found one software in the L called Living Writer at livingwriter.com. They have a 14-day free trial. After that, you're going to be paying $19 monthly for this software. I didn't see a completely free plan. Now, they do have some AI tools in there, and if you want all of their AI tools and features, then that can move you to a plan that costs $299 yearly. So if you want to spend money, then this might be the one for you. Their starter templates include templates for the hero's journey, story circle, and even for Save the Cat, and I think there's some other ones in there as well. I just wanted to mention a few. In the M's, we have two that I found. One is Manuskript, and the other is Motif. Now, Manuskript, again, is a independently developed software, and you can download it for free. Now, I could not get it to install on mine right away because apparently with the Windows installer, it can trigger a false positive with your virus scanner, and that happened to me, so I haven't successfully installed it yet, but that's an issue that the builder of this software actually mentions could be a problem on their site. But you get the software at the website listed here. It is available for Windows, Linux, and Mac. The other software listed here is Motif, and it is another browser-based software. It'll let you work in the cloud. Their starter plan allows you to have 3 projects with 30 items per project. And when they say items, they're talking about things like characters, locations, and objects and things like that that you track that are part of your story and how you break your story down. So that's something to keep in mind. You hopefully will only need those 30. If you need more, then you would have to go to their paid plan, which is $12 a month, or if you want to commit to an annual payment plan, then that would be $5 per month or $60 per year. Get to Motif by going to meetmotif.com, and that's where you find it. They have some starter templates as well. The 3 that you get in the free plan are the Hero's Journey, 3-act structure, and a memoir one. If you get the paid version, you will have 10 templates, or maybe even more than 10 templates to play around with. So let's move on and look at the ends. And in the ends we have Novel Easy. It's a very simplistic type writing environment. It lets you write and lets you like move around your chapters, but not a lot else. There's a few formatting tools, but it is completely free and it is online software. I don't think it's been updated recently, but it is still out there and is still free. A new one I've run across and added to my list is NovelCrafter. Again, this is an online entry to our list, and it's been around at least a year with a very recent update. They have a 21-day free trial, and then there are 4 tiers of paid subscriptions after that. I don't know whether there's a free version that you can keep using, but you at least have that 21-day trial to try out. The first and cheapest of the paid tiers is $44 a year, or $3.36 a month. And I don't have a lot of information on the software. We will check it out at a later date, but again, just want to make you aware that that software is an option. One that has been on my list and a recommendation in the past is Novlr. They still have their free starter plan, which allows for 5 projects and has some tools for like goal setting. They also have 2 tiers of paid version, which is their Plus, which costs $6 a month with an annual commitment, or $8 a month if you pay month to month, and their Pro version, which is $14 a month. And both of those you can have unlimited projects. The Pro version just also includes manuscript editing tools and even a Pro Writing Aid powered proofreader, apparently. So that is Novlr. Moving on, in the O's, I didn't actually find any software in the O's, but in the P's I found 3, or 3 are listed. The first one listed here is Papyrus 12. Now, Papyrus 12 is the updated version of Papyrus Author, and you can get that at papyrus.de. They've changed their logo. They've also kind of changed a little bit of their model. It's more of an online software now. I think before there was some desktop part of the app. It costs $350 to even get the software, and I'm a little disappointed in them because I missed my window to do a transition and basically lost access to everything I had in Papyrus Author because I was too busy to read all of my emails, and I missed the window that they gave to actually export stuff out of Papyrus Author before they went to this new Papyrus 12. So I can't really recommend Papyrus Author as an entry-level software anymore, but there you have it. I think the software is still basically the same. Plot Factory is one I've mentioned before, and you can get that at plottfactory.com. They do have a free version. They call themselves a freemium program. Their free version is pretty well defined, and you can use a lot of their tools. But then they have their hobbyist level for $90 a year, or their novelist level for $190 a year. And it's easy to use. It has a nice, clean kind of interface, pretty much intuitive to use. I was a little depressed using the free version though, because I kept running into links for tools that I wanted to use, and I'd click on them and it would say, oh well, that's part of the paid version. But you can still try out the free version if you want to. I just found the free version a little bit too limited for me. The other software here is Plottr, and Plottr is not a writing environment like Plot Factory or Papyrus Author or a lot of these others. It is actually more of a plotting tool where you can use this software to define your timelines or character arcs and basically plan out the beats of your story. So it's more of a planning rather than a writing software, but it is geared towards novelists. Plottr is free for 30 days. That's a free trial. Then after that, you have to start getting into their paid plans. The lowest of that is $60 a year, and that gets you the ability to get that offline version that you download to use. If you want to pay $150 a year, then you can save your work to the cloud and work on the web as well. And then there's one more plan above that for $270 a year. In the queues, we have Quoll Writer, and Quoll Writer is one of those other independent developers developing this software. It's available for Windows, Mac, and Linux. It is a downloadable program. When you first open it, you might think it's an older program, but it's not. It has had some updates, at least some bug fixes and things, as recently as this year. So Quoll Writer is still an option. You can look at it for free there and go to quollwriter.com to get a download of that. In the R's, we have Reedsy Studio, and Reedsy Studio is new to my list. Their main writing editor and planner is completely free to use. You can create your chapters and arrange them, and do have some basic goal tracking things in there. If you want more features, you can pay $5 a month for their Studio Craft add-on, and they do call it an add-on, and that gives you more goal tracking and statistics type stuff for your story and your writing. And if you want more outlining tools, then you can pay for their Studio Outlining add-on, and that gives you more outlining and planning tools. So that is Reedsy Studio. Again, this is online, so you can pretty much use it in any writing environment, any computer. For the essays, I ran across 4 different softwares, so I've broken it down on 2 per page here. The main one that you're going to run across when you're looking at the essays is Scrivner, and if you ask for recommendations, somebody's going to bring up Scrivner. It is a very good program. It's been around for quite a while. In the beginning, it was Mac only, but then they started developing a Windows version, and finally, at this point, the Windows version and Mac version are pretty much the same at this point. It is a $60 one-time purchase, and that will get you whatever version Scrivner is at and any updates for that particular version. Say, right now Scrivner is at Scrivner version 3, so you'll get all the intermediate updates for Scrivner 3 to fix bugs or add minor features to it. So that's a one-time purchase, and it is a downloaded program available for Windows or Mac, and you can get that at literatureandlatte.com. The other one here is Shaxpir, and they are currently at Shaxpir 5, and you can get that for free at Shaxpir.com. And when you get it, you basically get the demo version, and use that. You would get a free 7-day trial of the Pro version when you download it, so you get to try out the Pro tools. But if you don't need the Pro tools, then you can just stay with the free version at the end of your trial and not pay for the subscription. The subscription is $10 a month if you pay annually, or $13 a month if you go month to month. It is an online version, but if you're paying for it, then you can also download an app version that lets you work offline, and then you can just sync your 2 versions together whenever you're online. And currently they're at version 5.0.1. Also in the S's is Snowflake Pro, and I've mentioned Snowflake Pro many times before. It is software for planning, again, for developing your story. It's available at advancedfictionwriting.com. It's free if you have purchased the book that was written by the maker of the Snowflake Pro software, or actually the developer of the Snowflake method of plotting. And so if you want the software and you want to get it for free, then you need to go buy the book. You can get an ebook, I believe, from Amazon for, I think it costs like $8 or $9 for the book. So you can get then guilt-free, come and download the software, and that's Snowflake Pro. There are other softwares on this list that do have tools for using the Snowflake method. And if you're going to use the Snowflake method and don't know what it is, then you're probably going to want to get the book anyway to actually explain the Snowflake method. So there you have it. The other S software that is listed here is Storyist, and you can get that at Storyist.com. Now, I can't look at this one. It's a one-time purchase of $60, but it is Mac-only software, so I can't tell you a lot about it. But it did come up in my list, so for all those Mac users, I thought I would go ahead and mention that software. For the T's, I didn't find anything, and for the U's, again, the only software I found was this program called Ulysses, which shows up on a lot of recommendation lists. It costs $6 a month or $40 yearly, and again, this is a Mac-only software, so it's not something I'm going to be looking at, but if you are a Mac user, Ulysses is something you can take a look at. I didn't really find anything in the V's, but in the W's, I have 3 options here. Wavemaker at wavemaker.cards, which is a free software that you can use. It is a progressive web app. I think they still call them those. Basically, it's some software that runs in a browser using the browser as its interface, and then it stores your data actually on your local computer rather than in any type of a cloud system. So it should work on pretty much any system that can use a browser. You'll have to try it out for yourself. You can also use Google Drive with it if you hook up that feature. And it's free. It's an independent developer. Once again, I believe there's a way you can donate some money to help him continue to develop the wavemaker.cards software. WriteItNow 6 is another software that is available in some capacity. Now, at ravensheadservices.com, you can find a download of a demo version of the software if you want to look at it, and you can still find copies of it on eBay, and so I'm thinking there probably are some other places you can find copies of it still out there, so I went ahead and left it on the list, but we're not going to really go into it because you can't buy it from the site anymore, so we're just going to move right on to the next software. Another one here in the W is WriteWay Pro, which I have mentioned before. It used to be a paid software, but it is at its end of life and no longer actually sold. But the makers of it do still have a web page where you can download it. You download the demo version, and then they direct you to a page on their site where you can get the actual key to unlock the full WriteWay Pro version and use the full version of the program. It's Windows only, and it's something you might want to play around with if you're looking for free, cheap software. And you can see what was available. WriteWay Pro is an option if you want to look at that. I didn't find anything in X, and in Y, of course, we ran across WriteWriter 7, which has been around for a while as well. And you can get that at spacejock.com. I've mentioned this program before. It does come up in recommendations for writing software quite frequently, and it is completely free to use WriteWriter 7. Go ahead and get it from spacejock.com, which I believe is where the actual writer of the software is hosting the download. WriteWriter 7 is definitely an option. And again, this is a downloadable software. In Z, I actually didn't find any software, so we're basically done with a list that was 30 different softwares that are out there, most of them being for novel writers. There are also a few tools or things I ran across that I'm not sure of what they offer, or I just didn't include them in the list. Like Focus Writer is really just a tool to help you focus on writing by giving you a writing environment to write in, distraction free. Storybook, I'm not exactly sure what Storybook was. It popped up on my list very late in why I was making this video. Writer seems to be similar to Focus Writer and give you that distraction-free writing space. And WriteMonkey apparently has some writing tools, but I haven't looked into that. So those are things that are not actually on my list, but I did run across, so I thought I'd mention them here at the end in case anybody's curious to go find out what they do. If getting this list of software is useful for you, if you plan to go through and try some of them out, all the links you'll find in the description for all these sites so you can go try these softwares out. If this is helpful, please like and subscribe to this particular channel for more information on these writing softwares. So I hope you enjoyed joining us here on Journey to Novelist. Come back again when we post more videos. I plan to do something where I compare some of these online programs to each other. So look for that later in this year. Thank you for joining us.